Hello.
Estrada,
Hi, how are you? It's
Estrada,
been a
Shannon,
while.
Mig. Good to see you, Estrada. Good to see you, Shannon.
See you. Seems like a long time. Lot of stuff going on.
It feels like we had a dream once. We had a dream team. We
Yes,
had
it
momentum. And then summer
yes,
began. Things changed.
yes, yes. Hi there, Meg.
Hi,
Good to see you.
good to see you. Yeah.
So I hope
I'm
on
going off
this.
mic, guys, while Mig leads our social meeting. Mig, take it away.
Well,
Estrada, have you met Shannon yet?
no, I don't think I have. No.
Oh,
No.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, nice to meet you. Where
Shannon.
are you located?
Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And you?
I'm in Pasadena, California.
Pasadena. Okay.
Yeah, not too far.
Yes, yes.
And Shannon
Are
is a
you?
very, very dear friend of mine who just finished the most recent cohort
Oh,
and
okay.
did some really awesome stuff for her work that helped me out indirectly because
Mm-mm.
I have to present at the astronomy club tonight, and Gamma came and saved my butt by helping me generate the full presentation, including research. It was a combination of Perplexity doing the research, giving me an outline, and
Mm,
then Gamma giving me some slides. Totally
excellent.
saved my butt. So
Nice.
and it was I that the beacon to shine the way down that path was Shannon doing one of these in the class the other day.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah.
so did
Well, thanks.
Shannon, did you do a presentation with slides or was it a video presentation
Um,
or what?
yeah, well, in class, we worked on um fun little slide presentations about my favorite band, but recently for work, I've been presenting kind of or I've been creating using Gamma as was my source and Perplexity and some of our classes. I created a kind of an AI uh, explanation of like what we did in the class that I'm going to present
Mm.
to my boss and
Oh,
my two bosses actually. But then I converted it to PowerPoint and I've been manipulating it extensively because I feel like there's so much more I want to say. So, but Gamma was like the root of it, and now it's in PowerPoint. Matt, I was gonna send it to you as soon as it's finished, just so you could see the difference of like what we created that came out of like the Otter um PDFs and stuff, and then all the things I added to it because I think that they are going to be interesting. And then I'm going to present it as like a lunch and learn for the rest of the entire 30 people team.
Hey,
So,
Mig, do you think she could take a moment and share it?
Yeah.
oh, that would be
uh,
wonderful.
okay.
If you feel up for it, yeah. And
I
Shannon,
have
I
to,
don't know if you've met Jeff
have
yet, who
to get
just
it.
joined, but Jeff is also known as Jeff, who we scraped off the curb. That's his name. That's the story. And I know I've told you that story about when Joyce and I found him and he had wrecked on his bike and broken a bone. So that's Jeff, and
Oh,
been in the class, and he's awesome.
hi. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm sorry I don't have a camera today. I forgot to bring my camera because I checked my one calendar and said, "Oh, no meetings." But this meeting is on my personal calendar, so
Oh,
I'm sorry that I'm disembodied. But I've never heard of Gamma, so I just brought it up and I was like, "Wow, this looks great." It's kind of like
Oh,
the other one, the what's it called, Matt? The Beautify something like that AI. Like, do you remember what it's called? The other one? I think you're muted,
you're on
Matt.
mute.
Look at me. I'm not used to being muted.
Yeah.
It's Beautific or Beautify. You're absolutely right, and I can't remember at the moment.
None of
And
us.
Jeff, Mig can attest to this. every single cohort, I've been adding new stuff that emerged.
Oh, that's awesome.
The latest thing I was adding and Mig pushed us to is Runway, which creates better text to video. Every week is
Oh,
something
neat.
different. Gamma has probably the hands down most useful recent thing I introduced,
Oh, great.
other than what I
Yeah.
call it, other than Google Notebook. But Gamma will take pre-written text, like a report that you already have done, or it will take a prompt, and from those different things, it will generate a slideshow like PowerPoint or a document like regular paper size document,
Right,
or it
right.
will generate a website. Any of the above
Wow.
in a flexible format. So you can say, this is my long ass text from the report, preserve it for me, condense it for me, or take this idea and rewrite it entirely for me. So it's very, very
Wow.
flexible. And it
Yeah.
will generate the slides plus newly generated images and layouts. And after that, you can go in and swap out the pictures if you want to. You can fully customize it. You can give it your brand image. So it's extremely fast. And you can start your
Yes.
work in somewhere like Anthropic. Then you can take it to Gamma and you can knock something out like Mig just described, like at the last minute.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
I'm
pretty
trying
cool.
so hard to not use the term poop it out when I describe this thing to people, but I've kind of been using that term all day talking about it. Because it was just so brilliant and amazing how it happened. And actually, I can show it to you guys because I've got it here on the other screen.
Shannon is back. Now, Matt, is this what you had? Did you say it does a website? Did you mention that to me in the past that I might
I
consider that? I think
Estrada, I specifically mentioned it to you about the day that I
yes,
learned
yes,
it.
yes,
In
yes.
all fairness, I saw one of the people I follow, Riley Brown, do a quick
Mhm.
video on it. The very next day, I did a video,
Whoa.
or that night, I did a video on LinkedIn. I made a video
Okay.
with Loom, just showing, because I was like, oh my God, this is so useful.
Oh
Um,
man, I'm stoked. Now I'm gonna
because
get.
you were
Yeah.
looking for a way to knock out a website like instantly.
Yes, yes, yes,
This is now hands down the quickest way
this
I know
is
of to make
okay.
a
This
beautiful
is
website.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
on it. I'm on it.
And
Okay.
this one that I'm not gonna talk about it, obviously, but I will kind of like just page through it. It built this whole thing that I'm going to be
Whoa.
talking about tonight. And I did
Cool.
it two different ways. What I ended up doing was generating an outline in Perplexity. And actually what I did, because I'm annoyingly obsessive and meticulous like this, is I generated one in Claude, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. Then I asked each one of those to merge all three and come up with a winner. And then I looked at it and figured out what I liked the best. I fed that outline into here and it generated slides, went out and found subheadings. Like this is
Wow.
Gamma that did this. Gamma went out and scraped info from the ether to put in some stuff here. And it also put in images. I ended up going in and swapping out the images. There's a decision point in the beginning where you can choose AI generated images or images from the web or whatever that you have in your own image bank. And I ended up going with the latter. But the first time I ran it, I generated it. Actually, I have it here. And I think, no, one of the first ones I did was this one.
Mig, are you sharing it?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
Yes,
had to.
yes.
There it is. Yeah, you should see it now.
Okay.
But let me redo the share just in case.
Are you guys seeing it?
Not
I'll be
now.
sharing now.
It
Not
was early.
anymore.
Okay. Now we are.
Okay.
Yes.
There it goes. Yeah, this one was generated just from a prompt. Like, write me or give me a 15 slide thing about this star.
Wow.
And it did this on its own. So yeah, it's kind of amazing.
So choosing the imaging style AI versus other, is it either or can you
It
mix? Do you
isn't
have to?
either. This is a limitation of it is an either or, and it does not allow you to go back and redo your thing exactly as
Oh,
is, but with the other one. So what I had to
right.
do when I ended up making my final one, what I had to do was, uh, oh, yeah, so this one, yeah, this was using the outline, but AI generated images. And I thought this looked a little bit too fake. So
Yeah.
I went back, but because you can't make that change retroactively, I had to I had to redo it from scratch and using the prompt, but that was not difficult. So anyway, this was very much inspired by Shannon doing one about her favorite band and watching how quickly it made it happen. So yeah, so I'm going to be presenting this thing in about 3 hours from now. And yeah, so Gamma saved my butt. It's kind of awesome.
That's fascinating. Wow.
Mig, this
That's
is
awesome.
weird. I haven't been able to see what you're sharing, and I was wondering if it's because you're a co-host with me. Can you try sharing it one more time? I
I
adjusted something
will.
because I
Everyone
didn't get
else
to
could see
see
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna,
Yes,
I'm
we
gonna,
could see it.
I'm gonna share the full screen instead of just the application. But anyway, it is now sharing.
You can't
Can
see
you
it,
see
Matt?
it, Matt?
No, that's never happened to me. Nope.
Weird.
Huh. Yeah,
Um,
we can see it.
I want to see it. Oh, now I see it.
Oh, you were maybe behind window stacking or something? Yeah.
I said move focus to next window, which is a different menu. It's, I have a laptop and I plug it and unplug it to a second screen, and I think
Mm.
it's related to that somehow.
So
Uh,
here's an example of how neat it was. It took the bullet points from the outline, and you can do a thing. Somewhere here. You can edit the layout of these. But one of these, you can choose like these little icons. It came up with the icons on its own.
Mm.
So you can just change between this and this. But I
Oh,
like the
neat.
fact that it came up with, and if you do images with text, it'll fill it in with images that it thinks you should have. But I liked icons with text.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
and actually probably what I'll do is I see this one looks like a person. I will or I don't know. I'll
Place image.
yeah, the
Will
replace
it?
image is gonna let you
Oh,
uh
put.
yeah, here we go.
Oh,
Icons.
icons.
I
Oh,
would
pick one.
love to find
Recurrent Nova.
yeah, I want to find a clock
I was gonna
or
say clock or like something that's going around and around like arrows. Yeah,
calendar.
yeah, that would work.
These look a little weird. These look like
Whoa, the one with the star on it.
oh, what? Where? Wait. Oh, there we go. Yes.
Obvious.
you're right, Jeff. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's still spinning, but then when I close it, it should put that in. Okay, maybe it didn't. Anyway, that is how you do it. I'm going to
Meg, I think
control
it put
C.
black on black, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. Or
Oh,
it's
yeah,
maybe it hasn't. Yeah. Something.
that's you're right. So yeah, let's fix this super quick because I can go icons. I love that we have social hour and we kind of turned it into a demo. But this was kind of mind
Isn't
blowing
that what it's
what it
for?
did for me. Yes, this is true.
I mean, we are
I
catching
mean,
up
what
with
else
each
would we
other.
talk about? Oh,
True.
sorry.
My crappy day that I had otherwise, where everything was going wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put that in and then
Mm,
that. Okay. Something about it not wanting to work.
there's no button.
Wait, look now. It brought up the palette while you have it selected.
I think I have to. I think there's an apply button. that I
Double
have
click
to-
on it or something like that.
Also, Mig, look on the left-hand side now. There's a palette right above where you're inserting it, and maybe now you can give it a color.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe not.
Minor issue. So I will just Control Z
Yeah.
and get that back. But you guys can see how silly, now Control Z not wanting to work. I will fix that, but you guys can see how silly easily it was done. So yeah, that was, and another example here is this image was, so I wanted a very specific one. So I went to edit accent image, and I'm not going to do it because it's going to wipe out this image that is exactly what I want.
Right.
But you hit replace
No.
image and you
No.
can key in a URL, or you can just start like keying in a Google style search on what you want, and it'll show you a bunch of options. So yeah.
All right, Mick. So you've definitely got some AI copy editing in your bottom right.
I just killed the share.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see, because I want to see Shannon's.
Oh,
See.
mine is. I
Yours was
bastardized mine.
Yours was the original inspiration.
An apt nickname for this intriguing variable. If you wrote that, my apologies, but that is nonsense.
I did not write that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. What I did do, though, this was my own little touch, is I put in the famous burlesquer named Blaze Star, so not to be confused with her.
That's great.
So yeah. But
Nice.
anyway, that's what I'm doing with the rest
AI
of
will
mine.
not think of Blaze Star, so that was good.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, that's my little panic of the week. And how it came about actually was the toughest part of my role with the astronomy club is finding speakers for the meetings. That is really tough. And so earlier this week, one of the other officers said, why don't you just talk about this thing? Because this star is in the news lately because it is due to basically explode any day now in the next
this is the
several
supernova one?
weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
So
I've
this
heard
is
about
in the
it.
news now, and one of the other officers said, why don't we just talk about that? Because everyone's asking questions. So that's how
Yeah.
I inadvertently became the presenter tonight. But knowing that I can do something like this, generating stuff via Perplexity, that's where I went first because it can research with the sources, and then feeding it into this, I can whip up a presentation in pretty short order. Start to finish was about 3 hours, and that was a lot of me obsessively tinkering with details. If I was given 1 hour to do it, I probably could have knocked it out.
I just asked Perplexity to compare Blaze Star and Blaze Star, and it helpfully tells me that while they share a similar name, they're completely unrelated. So I didn't know she dated Earl Long.
Not sure who that is.
I think he's
From
related to
Louisiana?
Huey Long. Yeah, from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Huey Long is the Kingfisher. I do remember that's his name. I
Yeah.
can't even remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, but I can remember things like that. So Shannon, when you did yours, you said you put it in another format. Did you export it to PowerPoint or something like
PowerPoint.
that?
Yep, it's now in PowerPoint. And I probably I'll show it to you. I'll share my screen and I'll show it to you. I just emailed
Yeah.
myself. And I can show you guys. Well, here's the original one that we created in Gamma. I think it was my first class or my second class.
It was like the
It was
first
pretty
class, pretty early.
early on. Yeah. Yeah, actually it was the first class, yeah. And they put these are generated pictures of Duran Duran, which is really very funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. But the one I created for work, can you guys, when I'm sharing my screen, do you guys see the pictures of yourself on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we see
So
the
I'm hiding.
PowerPoint.
Oh,
I'm seeing purple Savant-AI bootcamp right
no,
now.
we see, yeah, like
Yeah.
we see ourselves, but on our own machine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I the black and purple is from Gamma, and so but you can see I've added additional things, like for instance this box down here, and I really wanted to understand when people are talking about AI what the difference is and what we're really talking about, because everyone, if that was one of I think my first question to you, Matt, is like, if this is generative AI, then what else is, like, what's the other AI? I didn't quite understand that at first. So once I learned that, I wanted to, I don't know if other people had that same question, so I put that into my slides. I didn't, and like, so this one, is, you can tell it's completely AI generated, but I wanted to include some of the stuff that Matt told us, like about natural language processing, large language models. And I was trying to make it clear that these are things I added in. So this one, from Perplexity last night, I was asking it questions about the different ways that AI learns. So I found that fascinating, and I found information about the natural language processing. So I wanted to point out that this is the most common.
I
at
love that
least
there was a model called Bert, Ernie.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So yeah, I kind of added all of this in. You can see the citations from Perplexity here. This is just in case someone wanted to go deeper, because like I said, I'm going to present this. And then here's one of the slides that came from Gamma. This one also
I see the
too,
little
but I
icons
wanted
on
to
that one
make
too.
it clear that, like, yes, I didn't know that. Yeah, but see, now it's in PowerPoint, so I can't really
Oh,
do
true.
much with it. I can go back to the original, but I've made a lot of changes. I wanted people to understand that, it's really about the prompting. Oh, and then Mig, I put this slide in here because I thought this was so helpful. And then this one I kind of created all on my own in terms of this table. I wanted to show like what I used in the boot camp. So like these are the major ones that I've used. And then I wanted to, the descriptions came mostly from, I don't know, Perplexity or somewhere, various places. But then I did the research in this column here about the mean and whether it's connected to the internet, and how it gets its data, kind of thing.
Neat.
It
So
really
what was your
was very
initial prompt that led to the output? I mean, how extensive? I'm interested in knowing how extensive the prompt was.
Yeah, I think I was in Perplexity and I just kept asking it, can you tell me about the difference between Copilot and Gemini? And can you tell me, how do they get their data? And then can you tell me how does Claude work? what's the difference between using Claude or using Chat GPT? So it started to pull out these pieces of information. So I pulled it, or, I'm trying to make it readable and not too much data. So I just pulled out the thoughts that the pieces that I thought were interesting to me, like especially about Claude being really into safety and ethics. So I went down a rabbit hole then about that, because I was like, well, so what's the deal with this? And I found all these Reddit people complaining about Claude's ethical stance, and they're like, oh, it's so conservative now, and you can't write fiction anymore because Claude says what you're writing is either offensive or too sexual. So I thought that was very interesting, that they've gone in that direction.
When you think about that, I mean, I just have to say, when the models start to be moderated or get these guardrails that tell us who to be as people, or how to look, or that even like we
Yeah.
must be diverse, or we must be this, or we must not talk about a sexual thing, or suddenly, yeah, we're going down the wrong path. But if there's no moderation, and anyone can imitate anything, and anyone can deep fake even like a boy or a girl of 12 or 13 years old, like you
Yeah.
can have any, if you can build a bomb based on what you find online, or if you learn how to hack into the Federal Reserve or whatever. So that's why there's so much competition now for the chips, and so much competition for the talent that writes these models. Man, this is one of the biggest stories of our times, because it's super creative, but it's super political. It's why
Yeah.
Sam Altman went to the Middle East to get his money. He needs trillions of dollars because he wants all the servers. Is why we don't want China to have any of the newest chips. I mean, the game is on.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
When I was doing
Yeah.
mine, I made a little observation that I came at it kind of for very informational presentations, kind of two ways to come at it. One way is you take a giant block of information, use AI to summarize it, get you bullet points, build your presentation
Yeah.
from that. I did it in the reverse direction. I first had it come up with 15 slides and bullet points. Then I said, okay, this is great. Can you now generate me a short reference guide with a paragraph about each one of the bullet points? That's what I'm putting in the slide notes. And then from there, I said, that's great. Can you now generate me a long reference guide with like three to four paragraphs about each bullet point that give the full context of it? And so I'm pretty well versed on this thing from having it dive deeper and use the first one for the presentation, the later one for the notes and key talking points, and then the final one for the full context. And
Yeah, well, I will just say that I have fallen back to old patterns, because I was uncomfortable letting AI make my entire presentation for me. That's because what you're just saying now, I started to think about later on. I was like, wait a minute, I could have done more with AI and then fed it back into Gamma. But I was like, I guess it was my own ego that was like, no, I want to make this myself. Like I want it to be mine. So I'm doing all this extra manual labor that I didn't have to do, because I've spent now many hours doing these extra things. So I feel like there's stepping stones. So I have to get more comfortable. Like you're months ahead of me. So you've realized that.
yeah,
So I feel like if I were to go back and now, start doing this again, I like your idea of making it do all the work.
it's just trial and error. And also in this case, it was born out of necessity starting it the night before. I kept thinking this feels like trying to pull an all-nighter in college again. But it was born out of, ooh, I need to come up with a slide deck. I'm going to have this do the lifting, but also I want it to give me the background info, the talking points.
Yeah.
Unnecessary step was me doing the thing where I generated it in 3 different places and then asked them all to come up with the optimal version and then compared them. That's the
Oh.
obsessive side of me. And Shannon, I remember thinking, this is the same part of me that when we were talking about the dual monitors, and I obsessively went and compared them all. It's the same part of me that has to obsessively data gather to find the perfect thing, when really what I need to do is not be like that. But
on the other hand, make the potential danger of leaving it all to AI is the accuracy, right? So I think
yes,
integrating the various platforms may help with that
true,
in terms of
very true.
cross-referencing.
Yeah. And this topic, fortunately, is fairly straightforward and well documented out there. So it did not take a very long check of going through it to ensure accuracy. So that was
That's
good.
Yeah. Okay, just real quick, I'll just finish. So I put ethical considerations, and I went my own and did regulatory guidance, Estrada and Jeffrey. I work for a bank in cybersecurity risk oversight. So
wow.
we're always interested in this kind of stuff. And then I wanted to I'm showing what fun things I did. I created a song. I already sent the song to my boss, and then some visual stuff. Our team is like known as the Wolf Pack. So we have some wolf things that I made using Canva, and also I can't remember which one I used for the wolves, but and then
Ideogram, I think.
probably, yeah. And then how can we use it at the bank? So then I really looked into Copilot today, trying to understand how Copilot would work, because we already have Microsoft 365, of course, so we are not using Copilot yet. And then I made my own custom GPT of a cyber risk issue evaluation. I kind of, you are a cyber risk analyst, and then I went through it, but it's such a huge thing that then I actually gave it specific instructions, like, here's the information I want you to ask. So ask about data type, ask about what the sensitivity is, ask about how many records. So then this is just an example of what it kind of gave me, and I only said to it, I need to know the risk of a new system, and it said, oh, great, to determine this, give me the data type, give me data sensitivity, records, and recovery time, just to kind of show my boss that. So yeah, and all of this was like born out of multiple AIs. We've got like, there's the Savant-AI, generative AI, like prompt engineering. Like I really pulled from all of them, but instead of making them do the work, I did it manually, just because that was kind of what I was more comfortable with at this point in my learning. So there we go.
And one thing I had to do that, Shannon, I think you probably did too, is I did buy a month membership to get 15 slides as opposed to the 10 slide limit.
Yes.
And then there were a few other little goodies that it unlocked, but for the most part, the free version, it gives you a certain number that you can do, and but it's nearly fully functional. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned. I wondered about that.
Yeah,
Shannon, that
10
was
bucks a month.
amazing where you went with all that. Every
Oh, yeah.
direction you took that.
Yeah.
Well, I keep adding to it, every time I pull it up and look at it, because I was supposed to meet with my boss on Tuesday. He moved it to today. Today he moved it to tomorrow. So I've had lots of time to keep tweaking it and playing with it. Yeah, the goal is to actually share it with the entire team eventually, but I want to make something they can, do something with.
Totally.
I love the wolves. Yeah, the
So
cyber
I'm
wolves
going to
look
keep
so
working
neat.
on it, I think. Yes. I don't know how that came about, but they were like the guy who's in charge of our team is a very enthusiastic, and he was like, "You guys are my wolf pack," and so now we're the wolf pack.
The graphics are great for those. Which one did you do the graphics, the wolves in?
I actually got the best wolves in
Was it Dolly that you got the final ones in? Dolly
yeah,
or
I want to
Ideogram?
say it was Dolly. Now Ideogram kept giving me too stylized, and
Right.
I kept telling it, make them more simple, make them more simple. And I just wanted a cyber wolf profile in the house of like Stark from Game of Thrones style. And our colors are red and blue. There's a red team and a blue team, so I wanted both of those colors in there. So they really like it. They're gonna start using it. One of them.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Estrada, how's stuff been for you since we last saw each other? We saw each other in person a couple of weeks ago when we had Joyce was
Cool.
here in town, and so we had the Las Vegas people, Jeff too, also. So it was
I was
Jeff,
there.
yes, Jeff, Estrada, me, Laura, and then Joyce dipping in.
Well, it's been it's been busy. I'm I'm co-hosting a platform that's bringing all of the neurosurgeons in sub-Saharan Africa together, and we're now meeting once a month, and I'm responsible for putting out the flyers, and so I've been using Canva to do that, and that's been fun. It's been a learning curve, but it's been good, and that's streamlined the work, and I've used AI to help just quickly generate letters and stuff like that. So that's been an ongoing thing. Um, I'm the bigger thing now is I'm collaborating with another physician, a pain specialist from Alaska, and we're we're planning to launch an online platform for health information together. And so we hired a media specialist. This guy won an Emmy award in the past, and he's going to help us figure out how to put it together, how to pitch out what we have to offer to sponsors and get sponsorships up front, and then we're going to get going. And I'm hoping to use AI to help power that whole platform. So it's exciting. A lot of stuff going on.
Neat. I'll talk to you separately. The one we looked at yesterday is the Rundown University that just put out, and hi Angie, Rundown University
Yes.
that just put out how to build a 30-second commercial start to finish, and interesting application of it. It's labor intensive, but still pretty stunning what the outcome was.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd be interested in doing that. And then my one more thing. I know Jeff isn't that enthusiastic about
Oh
songs,
no.
but
Oh no, it's more songs.
but I had a cousin that died in Liberia in West Africa, and so I went there for the funeral. Uh, but in the process, I did a song with Suno that captured my feelings for him, and it was in the blues style, and I think it was a masterpiece. It was well received, but it really I was very excited about
Yeah.
that. after
That's great.
several editions, it really captured what I was feeling.
That's a
It's-
use case even I can support.
Yeah.
Estrada. Sounds
Yeah.
great.
And I noticed, I like myself kind of tinkering with and just for fun doing Suno songs about all the mundane stuff. They didn't have nearly as much of an emotional wallet, but I did one for my uncle's 80th birthday, and that was very well received. Everybody is still sending messages about it, still forwarding it along. But it's what you said there is a very similar thing about something that captures it, it makes it meaningful, it has its own endurance beyond the event, and captures it in a way with song that just plain written word may not have as much of an impact. And so
Right.
it's a pretty powerful thing there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I still listen to it on a regular basis. It's very moving to me. It's just really the inflections, the bass lines, it's just perfect for what I was looking for. I mean, it
Yeah.
took several renditions to get it, but once I got it, I knew that was it. I'm sure you felt the same.
Yeah. Yeah. When it hits right and you just know it, it's kind of this victorious moment.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Jeff, does Suno drive you crazy?
I mean, it doesn't drive me any crazier than any of the other AI song generators. So it's nothing against Suno in particular.
I love that. Well, I'm trying to be respectful, but I would love Mig to share the Explore screen that Suno made. Like,
Oh yeah,
maybe
that's
not,
fun.
maybe not show it for very long, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
Estrada has seen it yet.
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I'd love to see it.
Oh,
I will do that,
Quick,
and then
quick, quickly, for as
pass
long
the
as
mic.
Jeff can tolerate it.
Listen, you guys can do
Yes.
that, and then I'm going to
Oh.
show you some Python as punishment.
That's a fair deal.
Yes.
I'm not even joking. So let's
This
do it.
is this was neat. The way it comes up with genres that logically could not exist,
Don't
but
exist.
now in Suno world totally can. And then afterwards, I'm going to pass the mic to Angie because I want to hear your update and the job and the pet rescue and all that. So let me see here. I'm going to pull up a browser. Screen share coming right up. And I'm going to share sound. So it's here on Suno and it's under Explore, and it just gives you this list of all sorts of weird things. And it's kind of fun how it scrolls it, because then your eye catches things that just seem so weird, like bubblegum bass symphonic metal. And it's so we were, I don't know, it's one of our little social calls the other day or something. We were just clicking around a few of these: acoustic blues mariachi, Arabic ambient techno. There's so many of these, and they were just Bengali swamp blues, Appalachian folk flamenco. There's just so many of these in here that are so interesting and bizarre sounding. So
And then you
so,
show them, you click on it, and then it plays it.
let's see. Let's find a good one.
Plays an example.
Let's Egyptian flamenco. Let's see.
Beneath the desert sun's blazing flight, blowing whispers tell tales of night.
Might be Egyptian.
Oh, Egypt, your struggle is a song.
Here's the question. We should try making a song with one of them. Like using
Oh,
them
hi.
because they always have a voice in it, right? With words,
Yeah.
but what if into one of your songs?
So anyway, yeah, you get the idea. Portuguese barbershop. Okay, we got to try this one. I could be here all day. Yeah, that's the Explorer, and we just kind of,
Oh,
I
thanks
don't
for
even
sharing
remember
that.
what the context was, but we were looking at Suno, and then it was on one of the calls, and we're like, I wonder what this does, and
Hmm.
that was quite a discovery.
That's great because sometimes I'm not sure. I don't. I've run out of ideas of what style to consider. That's phenomenal. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, yeah. And somewhere I found I need to go find this. I think it was in one of the newsletters, but somewhere there is a guide to all of the Suno styles and how to use them or how to pull from them. So, oh, hi Cherry. I love that little doggy. And Angie, I will pass the microphone over to you. You've had fair warning, and as a little bit of encouragement, I will also add Pierre to the mix here.
Oh, it's so good
Say
to
hi,
see
Pierre. Say hi,
everyone.
buddy. Say hi.
I'm here. Hi, Terry. It's so good to see everyone. What would you like to know? Like I don't
I want to hear about life and about the new job opportunities and yeah, that kind of thing. 'Cause you've pulled
well
off some exciting stuff.
I launched the AI tool that I created in our class. And so it has a name and a little trademark and a website now. And we've got a couple contracts that I'm working on building out. Both are with national agencies. So I just can't believe that's happening. Really excited about it. We rolled it out on a community animal response team training and it worked.
Wow.
Respell is really helping me out. Like Matt and Connor are really they're also helping me with sales. It's so bad because in one of the meetings I had, we talked about costs, but I forgot to mention like how much I charge. So interesting trying to not be so excited about a product and how you can help, but also, get it to return your investment, so to speak. But
Nice.
yeah, so that's been fun and great. I finally got the website launched and all of the behind the scenes stuff done and ready now to start marketing, I think. And then
Hey, Angie.
Yeah.
Do you want input from this group? Do you want
Mhm.
feedback from this group on that website?
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask what you did the website in.
Just WordPress.
Okay.
But yeah, do you want me to bring it up? Do you want to see it?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
You just
She had written me today and said, Matt, I just got it launched. She said, I'm sorry I missed the Mighty Network thing yesterday. I texted her, Mig, I'm taking a page out of your book. I'm like reaching out and saying, hey, we're online now. So thanks for
Well, I
joining.
bugged her too.
I also have to thank you, Angie, because of Angie. Again, Mig, like you, she sent a lot of people my way. On Monday, I will have the 4th and 5th persons that Angie's referred to take the boot camp, and my
Awesome.
sprint, my 3-hour version of this course. So thank you. And listen, a promotional thing for a minute. I'm making content now. I never really was. I got CapCut and other things running. if you guys would follow me on TikTok, I would appreciate it. Shannon just did, Angie just did, I think. But I put a link because I made a quick video of a conversation I was having with my son, where he's like, yeah, actually, my son told me, cover your ears. My son told me, you need to make something for my generation that's like, what WTF? Like, what the fuck is AI? I don't really care, but get right to it. Tell me what the. So I did my version of WTF, and I bleeped out the words, but yeah, please follow me.
Yes,
And,
absolutely. Oh my gosh.
I am the lone troglodyte on the planet who refuses to get a TikTok account, but when I do, you will be the first person I follow.
oh, I respect that too.
You're not the only one, Meg.
I set up some social media sites for the simulator as well. I didn't want to do like the AI tool, so I just did AI with Angie. And so I'm working on how to do some more content, and I'm hoping to collaborate with Matt on some things in the future.
Awesome.
So let me just share the screen real. Are you sure you want to see this? This is like
Oh, yes.
Okay. So this is the page. It's called the Smart Call Simulator. I took it from like smart TV or smartphone. So it uses AI. And then it just like, what is it? It provides an interactive call training experience. How does it work? This talks about how it works. And then like, when would you use it? Any organization that has a call training program could benefit from it. And then there's 2 model types now. So there's an on-demand type. So if you're, we're rolling it out with the National Animal Care and Control Association. So they have a certification for animal control officers all across the US. And part of their training is on demand, self-paced. And so instead of one of the modules being a quiz that they take, it's going to be the call simulator. So they'll click on it and then interact with the simulation, and then the feedback will be emailed to the facilitator so that they can get the credit for passing the certification. And then the other one is just like the just-in-time or the active drills. So if we're participating in a training for like 211 call operators or something else like that, it will help train them. I did a little bit of investigation, and at the time that I came up with this idea, there were 2 other companies like in the US. One was in Palo Alto and one was in Florida, but they all had their markets, their different markets. I'm a different market as well. So now there's 3 of us, and but when I say us, I mean just like me. So like on my own. These little photos here are just space holders for more information coming soon, but that's it. I just built out the first page. So if you have any like feedback, or if you want to like tear it apart, or like just, I'm so open to like just making it usable. The About Us section is just my little logo. So I did the little AI stars in the middle of it. And then just like why I, you know, and then just a little contact form, but that's it so far. So I don't know, like, what do y'all think? Like, what do you think about like the name and
Design question about it, which is, I feel like it's doing something that I feel like I've been seeing more of lately, which is reducing the number of pages and instead putting more stuff vertically. And I feel like I've been seeing that lately, or maybe it's been happening for a while and I have merely been noticing it lately. But I was curious the thought process that went into, you've got the home and the about, and there was a third one. You have a lot of stuff on home. I think I don't have any issue with that. I'm just curious the thought process behind it, because I've been seeing that lately.
the thought process is to have like a page, a go-to page for if someone has questions. But the main investment I want to go into LinkedIn and other media channels on the AI with Angie pages to really push that aspect out. So I was asked, I don't know why, but I was asked to teach an AI like beginner course on a national platform. So I think more opportunities like that give more opportunities for the program. So I'll like introduce the program and then talk about like just some how to use AI courses. I did get permission from the facilitating agency that I can recommend Matt's course for for real in-depth learning.
Neat.
But
Cool.
so
Cool.
I loved your
And just-
logo. Go ahead, Meg. Sorry.
Oh, with the headphones, yeah, that was the logo, right? But the little AI stars, I like that. Just thinking through kind of the logical conclusion of my own question there, I think it's easier for people to scroll rather than go up and click a menu. So I think that also kind of lends itself well to fewer pages.
and I want people to like want a demo and like connect with me. Like I want to connect with them to get a feel of like how we would work together. Maybe later on I won't want that because hopefully I'll be busy, but you know, especially in the beginning when you're growing something, I really, the companies that I've just started working with are like could use it or something else like that. So
I want to echo what Mig said, and
Hi,
that
Estrada.
hi, Estrada.
Take it easy, Estrada.
My son said the same thing as Mig. He said that on the web page that he and I now do for my company, it makes sense to keep it on one page because people don't want to click and go the next place. He said that was the first thing. He's like, one page is better. Single scroll is better. Also, he said almost before anything, he wants to. So this is him at age 27. He goes, I want to see endorsements, testimonials. And I'm thinking that those 2 clients that you already have signed up and your partnership with Respell speak well of you, although your clients, most folks won't know what Respell is, but they will know that you're in animal rescue and that you're actually helping people, animal owners and pet owners. So it's great to have those endorsements, you know, Fire Safe Marin and the others, and that teaching position you have, which is also related to rescue, isn't it? Nationally? No?
well, I was teaching social media strategy on that platform for a while during disasters and emergencies. And then she messaged me and she was like, hey, like you haven't taught in a year. Like, do you want to come back and like do a class? And I was like, what would I do a class on? And she's like, well, what have you been up to? And so I talked to her about the program and she was like, I want you to do a class on this. And I was like, about the simulator? And she was like, no, like, because as we were talking through, like I would share my screen and we would go through like a large language model and like going back and forth of like taglines for like key phrases, like inspirational ideas for her marketing and for some other aspects. And so when we started working on that, she was like, I want you to show other people this. And I was like, but everybody's showing other people that. She's like, just shush, do it. Okay.
Totally.
And just minorly retroactively here, Angie, I don't think you had previously met Shannon and vice versa.
Hi.
But Shannon is a dear friend of mine who just finished the most recent cohort. And she did some really awesome presentations for her job that totally dazzled everyone. And I took inspiration from that to do the astronomy club presentation I have to give tonight.
Oh, that's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
What was the slide one? Gamma? Is it Gamma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
how is that one working out? Is that one
Saved my butt.
okay?
Super
There's
cool,
a
yeah.
testimonial in 3 words.
That's it. It's perfect.
But yeah, it was
Yeah, and
seeing Shannon run through that. Like we kind of did a live action on the spot one, and that that illuminated the path. Sorry, go ahead, Shannon.
I was gonna say, oh, just Angelina, we've heard about, right from the beginning, Meg was like, and there was this one woman in one of the cohorts who built something like 1 week later, and it was like, she had a whole idea and ran with it, like after only like 1 week of class. And so, yeah, you're the inspiration for that.
Oh, thank you. I have this pass, Matt. It's the Golden Gate University temporary pass for your panel. And I have it sitting right here on my desk. So on March 28th, so I lost my job in February. And like almost a month later, I was invited by a friend to go to a panel talk. She knew that I was really interested in learning more about AI. And I heard Matt speak. And so I messaged him on LinkedIn and was like, hi.
Oh, cool.
And so he said that he was teaching the classes, and it just so grateful for, that environment and being encouraged and just
She
getting
came in with a sense of purpose, Shannon. She knew that she had worked as a volunteer in the past, and she knew that when, fire and rainstorms wreak havoc on those areas north of the bay, that people have to save their animals, they have to move fast. And so she thought, what if I could train more volunteers with something? She's like, I don't even know what it would be. I don't know how it would work. And then we had early on, that was cohort 3. Meg had done 1 and 2. And then in 3, I wanted to go further into things I did not know well, like automation. So I had Sarah and Tyler Fisk come. The week before, I'd had Suzanne come and this guy, Carl Ye. And they talked about automations and shown Chat GPT, custom GPTs. But Tyler showed this thing where a BMW dealership would interact with potential purchasers of cars, potential buyers, and they would have their names, and it would call out to them using a workflow that was set up in Respell, and then it would talk to them, and then it would set up their appointments and put it on a calendar and set up an appointment for them to come in and just go ahead and buy the car. And Angie saw that and said, what if I flip the script in the workflow and I have Respell work with this phone calling agent Bland and go forward? And I just got a DM from Jeff. That's cool, Jeff.
Yeah,
but
it's almost time.
Jeff's got to show his thing too, but her story is great because she flipped the script and it really shocked the guys at Respell who she connected with, the COO and CFO or CEO, Matt and forgot the other guy.
Matt,
Yeah.
They're like, I didn't know I could do that.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And so they said that they wanted to use it as a use case, and I was like, what? No, just show me how to do this. And so it was like, wait a minute, like what's happening? And so even now, like with working with them, they're like, they're so thoughtful, and they want this to happen because they wanted to help. Like all I want to do is just help people and the animals. Like that's all. Like the whole other business side of it is just so that I can, make it sustainable so that I can do that on the other side. So I don't know, feel really grateful. So
It's such a great use case for them. I looked into their background, their financing. They are growing. They want to grow rapidly. They just launched their new version of their tool and all their training today. Anyway, thanks for letting me chat about that, Meg. We got to see Jeff's work before we finish.
All right, I'll be quick here, guys. All right, so this all kind of comes. Maybe I'll just share the whole screen. You guys can see everything that's going on.
Do it.
The whole thing. I've got all my private stuff put away. All right, so I make Claude call me Mr. Colbitz because I don't want it to start thinking we're friends. Like it's got to know its place. But I don't know if you guys have seen the new one yet. Like I assume you have someone get into it, but the thing I most use is the projects because that's their version really of custom GPTs.
100% with you, Jeff. I started this last week too. I love it. I had to say that.
Yeah, it's really
changed
good.
My life.
And the thing about it is, like, what I wanted to do. Okay, so I want to use these APIs now because I am by way of background, I'm what's called a natural language programmer, which means I don't know how to do it. So I have to get Claude to do every single aspect of it for me. But the one thing it doesn't know how to do is how to talk to itself, because it was trained before its own API was made. So what I did is I said, okay, well, how would I go about getting all the documentation about your own API into a single document? And it told me how to do that. So I did it. And then I fed it to itself. And now this little custom GPT, the irony is, or a custom Claude thing is, its special project knowledge is the instructions for using Anthropic's own API. So I can ask it to make code for me that it can use to interact with Anthropic's API, even though Claude is not trained on that document. So I think this is a little, well, this is pretty cool. I've had to add a little message because of how the documentation is. The documentation is this weird format of, here's how it used to be, and that doesn't work anymore. Now do it this way. And that's not helpful because it gets confused because it keeps sending things the old way. And so I've had to tell it is, yeah, whatever you do, don't do it the old way, do it the new way. Anyway, so what I've done with this, we can get into one of them because this went on for days. I was doing this of prompting back and forth. That's very long prompts about, okay, like, here's your job. Like, we've got to get something that can look at a 10K or 10Q company filings. And I need some very specific information about it. And I need that output in a Word document. So I'm doing this for work. So why don't we just look at how it works? So these are the sort of, here's one little folder for this. So here's how we run it. Say, okay.
Are we in Python now?
We're in Python now. And this is like, this is 22K, which by standards of computer programs is very small. By standards of computer programs that I write, because I don't know how to write computer programs, it's very big. So, all right, so we just run it and it says welcome. And then, okay, it says, where's the path of the filing you want to look at? So I've prepared for our little demo here. Let's just look at this random document here, which happens to be apples. We're not looking at apples, so I'm not violating any DAs when I tell you that. And just paste it in. And this is okay. All right. So what model do you want to use? Because that's one when you're interacting with the API, you're going to tell it. So we'll use the latest because the pricing is good. So that's the default. Just take it. There's some stuff you have to tell it. As I've learned, you've got to say max tokens. Delay between prompts, 30 seconds. Yeah, sure. We can go with 1 second now, the way the new version works. This is the temperature setting. I think, Matt, this came up with, I can't remember who we were talking to in our cohort, maybe Angie or Mig. Remember, I think it was something to do with the BMW
It would have been
example,
Tyler,
but I could be wrong.
Because
yeah, I think so.
If you let it run hot, it'll get spicy and creative.
Exactly. And I actually, as an aside, I would really recommend Wolfram's book about what ChatGPT is doing. He wrote it a year ago. This is a guy, he invented Mathematica and some other software programs. He's been in AI a long time. And he wrote a book explaining what ChatGPT is doing. And it's a year old, so he's talking about GPT-3, let alone 4 or 4.5. But it really helps you understand what's going on. And he made the point just about this is no randomness doesn't work at all. And it's really weird because like you'll get nothing back, and too much randomness causes hallucinations. I've found for this use case, 0.5 is really good. They say most things, it's usually set to 0.7, I think is what they say.
What's
So
temperature mean? What does
that's just
temperature
it. So a 0 means essentially no randomness. Like you just choose the most likely next word, or it chooses the most likely next word. And 1 would be sort of go crazy, just be as creative as possible.
Shannon,
and I think you can set it above 1. Yeah.
Like in a fashion sense, you could look at the walls in your room there and say, hey, Chat GPT, what color are the walls? And it could say white. But if it's very cold, if it's 0, but if it's hotter, it could say white, off-white, beige, taupe, grayscale. It could be very creative. So if it's running hot or more creative or has a larger number, then its temperature is higher. If it's a cold temperature, it'll give a very firm answer. But by doing that, it will not be creative. It will not hallucinate, and it actually won't generate much useful stuff because it's so strict it doesn't really get us. It's like a 1 or a 0.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty good. Anyway, so it's off doing this little thing over here, reading this document. What's going on behind the scenes? The script itself looks like this. Sorry, I'm gonna move you guys over here so I can see it. And it's quite long, and a lot of this is just about, hey, how do you read the file? That's what all this stuff is. And if you actually get into the prompts themselves, which is way down there, here's what I'm asking it about. And again, these prompts, because I want a very structured document, and I have to ask about certain things. Like, I want you to tell me about the regions. We're very worried about that for our work. I want to tell me about divisions. I want to tell you about geography. I didn't really write any of this prompting myself. Again, I was just interacting with Claude saying, let's make a really structured prompt. And I actually let it come up with long of it. Because as you can see, these questions are really, really long. And they go on and on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, it took me a long time to figure out how to get that fed in an efficient way. And as you can see, our little example is done over here. So let's go see if we can find that file. It's supposed to have ended up over here. And then here's the output of this. That's how long it took me to run. So basically it read about a 70-page document and came up with this, which is a discussion, a description of Apple's various business units and sort of where those geographies are and a bit about their business. And this goes on for, how long is this? About 15 pages. And I'll tell you, so without saying too much, because again, what I'm doing is a little bit private. We're very interested in aspects of where companies make their money, what their tax strategy is, specifically about trying to move profits either from the US or to other geographies. And this is just a way for us, I think, to very quickly get summaries of what companies are doing. And then we don't have to read the whole document, and it's done, and you can kind of just skim it, and you got sort of everything you want to know about it. That's it.
What do you do, Jeffrey?
I do some consulting work. A lot of it's about advising companies about their own corporate credit ratings and debt strategy. We've been hired by an entity that's not asking us to do that. They're asking for our opinion retroactively, and kind of some expert witness work about what we think certain debt instruments would have been priced at. So,
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I think our innovation here, though, guys, is turning the AI on itself. That's what I'm most proud of, is getting it itself to teach me how to use itself, which I think is really interesting that they themselves haven't done that. Like, it's really obvious what I did. And it seems like it should be obvious to Anthropic, but they haven't done it.
Mig has been sharing the coolest Mig has been sharing so much stuff of value that is cool from the rundown.ai. They write a wonderful newsletter, yada yada, good news, good content. But this shit is cooler because this is so fucking unique to you as an individual, Jeff, that I love it. And I would love to take, I just love it. I love that you're Mig's friend and somehow Mig brought you into my world. I'm so grateful.
Oh no, I'm grateful to have found the group, Matt. And I was going to say, I think these calls will maybe grow or keep going, but I'm sorry I haven't joined the last couple, partly because I didn't have the settings right on the platform that I never knew when they were happening. So I think this idea of now I get to send me messages real time, and that I think helps keep everyone organized, because I'm not even sure how many people from our cohort even necessarily know that we're doing these. You know what I mean?
It's a settings issue with Mighty Network, and I'm not an experienced pro at doing this. I think I should export everyone I know in the group and give an email list, because I believe that through Mighty, I'm emailing everybody because that's what it tells me. But I think the members also have to have a setting to be notified, to receive the email.
Yeah, and there's a variety of different settings, and I changed mine from give me the highlights to no, send me every message, and
Yeah.
that's working better. But actually, Matt, I was going to ask for your email anyway, because that is an easier way for me to correspond, in all honesty, than logging in through platforms. And the reason I was is some people I work with actually are getting increasingly interested in this, and I think they might be keen to do the course themselves.
Jeff, since you were in my course, I made a version that's good for people that have a few hours. I made a version, I tried it at 4 hours. I've made it now 3. And this is the quick pitch. It's a 3-hour course that covers everything I've learned from 7 boot camp cohorts. So how do I cover everything from 7? Well, I condense the 3 hours. There's less workshopping, but I give everyone a custom GPT or a Claude GPT that is a tutor, so they can talk to
Oh,
the
that's
tutor.
good.
So everyone gets a tutor based on all the knowledge I've shared over 7 cohorts. So that's good. And everyone gets a tutor. I'm going to take all of my info from what turns out to be 88 hours of teaching time and stuff. So I'm going to take that and turn that into an ebook. So everyone gets an ebook. They get a goodies. They get the tutor. They get an ebook. I'm going back now and recording 20 basic tutorials in Loom because I've gotten more comfortable now with Loom. It's not great for a sort of content creation, TikTok style or short form video, but it's really great for tutorials. So everyone's going to get like 20 basic Loom videos. And I've also structured the course now in like 4 areas, like prompting, AI agents, AI automations, and simple second brain techniques, and not complex ones. So there's like 4 really direct areas where it can help people. So I have on Monday coming up, I have this 3-hour sprint. And then my next boot camp is at the end of the month. And I'm doing the next boot camp on the network. Actually, I'm trying that as an experiment through the network rather than Maven. So yeah. And I'll put my
That's great.
my phone number in here. Most people that ended up doing some things with me on the side have this phone number. So this is a work phone. And you can text me that way. If you see that.
Do you see that?
They're in the chat. Cool.
The chat. This is how I sort of stay in touch with Mig. It's how I started being in touch with Angie and with Shannon and with Laura and with Vix. So. And my son joined me in my company. He resigned his position, his job. And so we're getting more into content creation, and we're trying to figure out and also this happened through Jacqueline, Claudia, JC. She wanted her high school son to study with me. So there are different generations that this is important to. So we're trying to hit the different generations. My son is helping me think about that too. And Jeff, my first use of Claude and the coding and the artifacts feature.
Yeah.
We coded a quick game. It wrote up the code in Python. I discovered that integrated development environment, Replit. We ran the Python code minutes later in Replit. The freaking game worked. I was like, I can't believe it was a text-based adventure decision game, you know?
Ironically, that's how I was introduced to computers when I was 8 years old. I was precocious and I really wanted to make like a choose your own adventure in BASIC. I wasn't much of a game maker, but it's amazing you did that.
I'm blown away now. And that was like 2.5 weeks ago, whenever that feature of Claude came out. So then my son texted me back. I agree with Shannon, what you just wrote in the chat. I think conceptually having the thing talk to itself is very interesting. And it's also ironic because Claude is one of the tools that says in their API environment, in their sort of engineering workshop part of their website, they have a prompt engineering tool that you tell it what you want, it will tell you how to write the prompt better, right? So you would think that it was talking to itself, but what you did is really interesting. My son wrote me back after I did the game in Python. He said, if we could write the code for Unity, that would be really cool. I went back to Claude and said, I went to Perplexity and said, what language do we need to write in for Unity? It says the native language is C#. It translated all the code from Python to C#. And so I know that I now could write code for gaming in Unity, which develops for all of the smartphones and all of the console gaming systems and everything. That's crazy. So we're getting AI
That's
tools
pretty-
that can let us develop images, texture maps, video, code, decision-making logic. We can make games and movies. And there's so many applications for all this.
And I just started like this very small business, like it's infancy stages, and I cannot afford to pay someone to build out the web pages that I need for the program. And I'm using Perplexity to give me all of the code that I need. I'm like, I want the button once you click it to activate the call to change color. I want this to, I want there to be dots in the little box, like while it's waiting for the response. And I'm able to do that now.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I go back to it and I'm like, this isn't working. I'm getting this error code. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do this.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah. And then I'm like, do you have any, so here's what you've given me. I'm not quite sure how it looks. Do you have any recommendations to change this? Like what would be more user-friendly? And so it feels like I have a genius web designer sitting next to me that's costing me $20 a month. I don't know. So grateful.
Yeah, no, and like Angie, what you're describing is like in essentially HTML or WordPress is exactly what I'm doing in Python. Exactly the same concept of like, hey, I know what I want. I don't know how to write that, but you do.
Mhm.
And yeah, the similar thing. I find that happens a lot of, oh yeah, sorry, we did this wrong. Like, and you get a lot of that. And I read somewhere someone explained that in coding, when it's generating code, that is a different part of the model than when it's analyzing code. And I suspect it's a much better editor of code than writer of code, which is why you get this weird effect of write me this program, now fix this program. Because the logical answer from a person's perspective is, well, why didn't you just write it the right way in the first place? And the answer is like, that's different parts of the model.
I've gotten into a habit now when it sends me the code and I say, I just want the code to copy and paste. I don't need to know how you're doing it. I just want to copy and paste the code.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
so
great.
it sends it to me and then I write back and I'm like, can you test this code and make sure it all works? And then they come back and it's like, oh, like here's the one to copy and paste now. And so then I use that one. It saves me a little bit of time, but I've done that before. Like I need 500 words, a 500 word limit. And so it'll send me something and I'm like, can you double check that this is 500 words? And it's like, oops, sorry. Let me get this together. So I've gotten in that habit of like the double check.
That's awesome.
Neat. Oh,
Cool. Well, I gotta run.
It's so good to see everyone here.
Yes,
Oh,
very
great
much.
seeing you. Yeah. And nice meeting you, Shannon.
Yes, so nice
nice to meet you guys. Yeah. You guys
Yeah.
showed some super cool things, a lot to think about.
And I, on my end, didn't chat about this, but I have had a day where everything breaking, everything going wrong, every fire alarm getting pulled at work, and many emergencies in life. So this call has brought me back down to earth, and my blood pressure is drastically better, I'm sure, than it was an hour and a half ago, and my mood is drastically better. So that is what you all do, and I love it.
Do you do a little heart? Does it like Matt have a little?
Yeah, does it do
Matt
that?
have a
Does it?
little- Yeah, I just was like Matt was doing this and
Yeah.
it was coming up.
Look at that.
Yeah. How did you do that?
Matt did it.
Matt?
It did it on Matt's.
I think there are some kind of reaction. There's a setting, recognize hand shifts.
it?
It's at Zoom at the bottom, in the middle on a Macintosh in the interface. There's a
Oh.
heart that says
Oh.
react.
Yeah.
And then you
But-
have to make the signs.
Oh, recognize hand
Oh.
gestures. Does it recognize a middle
Oh.
finger? Oh,
I don't
Whoa.
that it does.
recognize hand gestures. Oh,
And then some of them are like
do it?
funny.
This one. Like,
Well,
oh, that one.
somehow peace gives balloons.
have it.
It's not doing it. Huh. Well, fun.
Love it. All right, I am over and out, and Angie, I'll give you a little bit of more Pierre here. We go.
Yes,
I just
please.
woke him.
Yes,
I just
please.
woke him up to grab him, but you know that's what he gets for being a freeloader. He doesn't do any chores around here or pay rent, so I can wake him up whenever I want. So
How's dog number 3 doing, Mick? We gonna
dog
name
number
it?
3 has a new happy owner.
Oh,
Yay.
So yeah, it was Sarah who. So I had 4th of July gathering. I'm pretty sure Jeff was there, but I remember very little of it because
I was there.
mixed up a wicked drink. I know you were there, but it's hazy. But yes, so there was a gal named Sarah who fell in love with the dog, and dog is now with Sarah and her husband and their dachshund who had been missing, having a companion, and everything about it worked out perfectly, and all of them are
Aw.
over the moon about it. So it worked out
That's
well.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yay.
Love it.
Cool. All right. I am out. I got to go present this silly thing tonight, and I will see you all later.
Meg, that was awesome.
luck.
Good night,
It
everyone.
was awesome. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Jeff, you rule. Bye.
Oh, everyone does.
Yeah.